The Biolab is intended to bring all growing and farming elements together so that you can produce a bunch of useful resources in one base. It has fish traps, grow plots, beehives, and chicken coops. With it built around a central standard 2x1, it's intended to be livable and is generally optimized for practical use in real-life environments. It was featured in a video on my Sig Plays channel, and if you haven't seen it, you can find the base tour later in this video or a link to the entire wipe at the end. Before I go further, I want to ask for your patience. Build videos aren't my jam, so there are some imperfections and I wouldn't consider myself a builder either, and there are probably a dozen ways this could be better. But if you take this Biolab concept to make your own base, I'd love to see a video or even just a post about it in my Discord. To build it, wade into water that's deep enough to support a water pump. You likely won't have a pump to confirm the depth, but the placement is pretty generous. Then start by placing a square foundation just beneath the water line and confirm a fish trap will fit on it. Then raise up some foundations to make a standard honeycombed 2x1 with the entrance on the opposite side. From here you can play normally out of this 2x1, and expand it in a very familiar fashion. Create a jump up to the second floor and a second floor entrance. Then fill in the honeycomb, but leave a doorway to the back of the base. Use the outer honeycomb triangle as a path down to the foundation where you place the fish trap. I also like to leave this spot open for a battery. Go down to the fish trap area and turn it into a 3x2, but leave one square out for placing water pumps, and place honeycomb triangles on the outside to cover the gap. Seal everything in. I also place a half-wall loot room above the water pump area. Build a pancake layer above the fish traps to even out the height and simplify the rest of the build. You can leave this spot open for some extra space for boxes. Now seal in this new floor like this. First, make a loot room for clones and seeds. Place walls on the side of the base. Then on the back of the base, you'll want 2 windows and a double doorway in the center. Now build up honeycomb on the back of the base. The double doorway will be a jump up to the next floor, and the windows will be windowed loot rooms. One for overflow storage and the other for lockers in a bedroom. Now honeycomb the remaining unhoneycombed walls of the back section. You may need to chop out fish traps to do this. It should look like this when you're done. At this point you'll have 5 fish traps and 1 grow plot. Now let's extend the entrance to be a bit more practical. Place another square foundation in front of your second floor entrance. This will be drop boxes. Then off to each side, place a triangle, square, then triangle foundation. This will honeycomb your 2x1, and you can place beehives here. Then extend 2 double single door airlocks out the front of the base with the outside doors facing opposite directions. If you want people to be able to walk up to your shops, put roofs here. Otherwise, I recommend using walls instead. In the end, it should look like this. Now let's do the third floor. Wall off the third floor like this. This floor will feature 2 grow pots, a bedroom, and your vending machines. You can leave 3 single doorways for vending machines at the front. By the end, it should look like this. The fourth floor trims things down a bit more, with space for 1 more grow plot and chicken coops. Wall it off like this. And put your last jump up to the roof right here. It should look like this when it's done. Now it's time for a roof, which is nothing fancy, so feel free to adjust as you see fit. I put just a few very basic peaks, but let's just say this base is not built for action. Then the final step of the base is adding some extra honeycomb on the front. To show you how I've done the deployables, check out this tour from the wipe where I used the space. You can see the full video on my Sig Plays channel. I'll also put the Builder Sanctuary code in the description as well. So the Biolab is done. We have a refinery out front and 2 externals on the sides that respond to a raid defense system, so if someone starts raiding, there are auto turrets in there that will open up. Let's make our way into the base. Very similar to Biolab 1.0 up here, except instead of bedrooms over here, we've got beehives, and the same on the other side. We have some drop boxes, then we make our way up into the core 2x1, that is a standard 2x1, but the more interesting bit is built onto the back of it. So underneath, we have fish traps. And above that, we've got our first grow plot, as well as where we're keeping our clones, and 1 of 2 bedrooms, and some more storage. Going up, we have more grow plots, as well as our fridges, full of food and all sorts of goodies. We have our second bedroom, then we have our shops. 1 more floor up, we have our last grow plot. And then some chicken coops, as well as our cooking stations, which we have been running to make a bunch of pies and bread and all sorts of stuff. Above there is the roof. Not a whole lot in terms of peaks, but enough if we need to defend or pick a fight or something along those lines. Chicken coops have changed a few times since I recorded the Biolab video. They now fit in a 1x1, and they'll only produce eggs if they're happy. This means coops placed indoors will eventually have their sunlight score drop low enough to be unable to produce eggs even if the other scores are high. At this point, they need to be replaced. If you don't want to do that, consider rearranging the roof to accommodate chicken coops. On a similar note, this base relies on beehives being bugged and often working indoors when placed on foundations. If this is eventually fixed, they'll also need to go on the roof. I hope this base, or at least this concept, will help you enjoy the benefits and satisfaction of all these elements combined, and thank you for watching.